Guys, we're going to give you a minute here to get signed on. We were late getting the stream up, so you may have looked for us and not found us, but we're going to go ahead and just hang out here for a minute while we are waiting for everybody to check in. I guess while we're waiting, we could go ahead and show you some examples of iris folding. That's what we're going to work on today. So bring your camera way in, if you would, please, honey. This is a card we made in one of the iris folding classes we've done before. It looks so detailed and it looks so difficult, and it is so easy. Shh, it's our secret. It's our secret. This is also one we made in that class. I love how you can use coordinating but different pieces of paper to create that textured effect. Hi, Glenn. Hopefully the others will be here soon. We were late getting the stream up, so it's taking people a while to get in. This is one of the ones that we did in a separate iris folding class. We did one on Christmas, and we made this card. I'm going to take it out of the folder because it's really prettier outside.
On her shirt is a little disturbing.
Glenn, hi Irene. Hi Glenn. Bryce says the cat face on my shirt is distracting. Here, I'll put the card over it. This is a snowflake we did in one of our iris folding classes. This is the tree. Now I don't think we have this template anymore, but we do have a cutting die that makes a very similar tree to this. And this is made, I believe, with the Annie Lang paper pack, which is really cute. We still have those. You do need a lot of tape. You do, for a fact. This was a hunky-dory template, and this is from a hot-off-the-press template that we still have just a few of. Here's another iris folding. I love this one. I don't know why I like it so much, but I do. I'll show you a mistake in this one. You shouldn't be able to see that little flash of tape there? One of our goals today will be to try and keep our tape out of view. Now, that's a tiny, tiny mistake, and it's not real conspicuous. Hi, Mary T. It's tiny, tiny mistake, and it's not very conspicuous, but that's one of the things we want to try to avoid doing. Love this one. And again, this template's sold out, but you can find similar templates to this in some of the iris folding books. Look at this. I absolutely love that with the gold and the copper glittery paper and the gold. Oh my gosh. Just love it. And the gold string, so pretty. This one was from our iris folding template using the gold and green paper pack from Hot Off the Press. And that paper pack is still available. I love the golds, the ivories, and the deep greens in this one. It just really has a beautiful effect. Another of those ornaments. You can tell I like that ornament. This is the leaf that was done in our last iris folding class where we did the bird. Thinking of you. And then I changed the color of the sticker to match using my alcohol inks. Here is our canning jar. I love this one too. I don't know what it is about this one that I love, but I just love it. It just speaks to me. You'll see I used little metallic paper at the top of this, just a little piece of cord here, and then kind of that light blue, but it's in different shades to capture the glass of the jar. Hello, Thelma. And whoa, let there be light, and it was so. This is one of the ones we're going to do today, or something similar. I can never do exactly the same colors. I have to do them differently each time. But this is one of the ones we have on our agenda today. It's the hummingbird die from Hunky Dory. And I got to tell you, after sitting and cutting these out for the templates, I got to tell you that the dies are really nice. You'll notice in this one, hello, Catherine. In this one, Margie actually turned the pattern around for me opposite way because I wanted the bird to be able to eat out of the flower. So she sat there and traced the template and changed all the numbers for me. And this is another one we're going to try today. A little different pattern paper. But see all those beautiful layers? You know, people look at that and they think, wow, how did you do that? And we can't tell them that it's really, really easy because that would be giving away a trade secret. So move those out of the way. And I think we should just, now that we've got a good group here, I think we should just get right into it. I think we will start. What?
Thelma says, Naughty Kitty loves your shirt.
Bryce said my shirt is really distracting because cat face is right there.
I really said disturbing, but
Oh, he said disturbing. He didn't say it was distracting. He said it was disturbing. Okay. I'm going to start with the hummingbird, I think. So let's go ahead and we're going to, where my plates go? There. Okay. Oh, come on. All this stuff stacked up is not what I'm looking for. All right. I never did get one of these brought back up. Okay. So let me start with what I've already done. I took a 5x7 piece of cardstock. You guys really took me up on that offer of the 5x7 cardstock. I think got a dozen of them. After it looked after the first day, we were down to like 3 packs left of this. So I think you guys saw the reason in it too. And I used this paper. It's actually old as the hills. This is a piece of flocked paper from it was flocked paper from Paper Pizzazz, which was one of the brands from hot off the press. And I just covered my cardstock with several pieces of tape, peeled those off, put my put my paper on top, flipped it over and cut it out, and ended up with this. I went ahead and put a greeting on it ahead of time so we wouldn't have to look for one later. And now I'm going to put my hummingbird on here. My goal when I place my bird is to make sure that I have at least half an inch, or at least thereabouts, a half an inch space clearance from all the edges so that I have a place to tape to on the back. And let's go ahead and put this down on our magnetic platform where it will stay put. Put my worked cover over the top. Okay, get our hummingbird back out here. On this particular paper, the cutout's really pretty too. Pop my little hummingbird out. Makes me want to do something with that. Okay, so now I've got an aperture cut in my cardstock. I'm going to go to the packaging for my die. It's a moonstone die from Hunky Dory. This is the one we're using. I'm going to open it up, and inside is going to be a color guide. So I'm going to take my hummingbird, and I'm going to carefully position it in there. And I'm going to, you could use some washi tape or low-tack tape. I'm actually using magic tape. And the reason I'm doing that is that magic tape usually peels off pretty well without damaging the cardstock, and I like the hold. So I'm going to tape my bird in place. Now I've got my pattern showing through the bird. And let's see, what do we want to do here? I have two different kinds of papers that I'm using today. One of the pads that I'm using, it won't be on this card, but it's on the other one, is it's called folding paper, folding pad, Matastic folding pad from Hunky Dory. I love this one. When we get to this one, you'll see why I like it so much. And then these strips here were all cut from a pack of paper called High Gloss Embossed Metallics. And these papers are just fabulous. They have these beautiful little designs on them, and yet they're very lightweight metallic papers. I've cut this. I actually cut these in half for class because I didn't want the class to be so expensive. So I cut all the papers in half, and everybody got half a sheet. And so I took my half sheet and I cut it in 1-inch strips. So you start with 1-inch strips. You fold it in half. And you get a little 1/2-inch strip. Okay. One of our goals when we do iris folding is that we want to make sure that anything that shows through the opening of the card is the folded edge. You don't want any rough edges out here. We want the folded edge to show. So we're going to start by turning this little piece around, this little piece we just got here. And I've already moved my pattern. Get it back where it belongs. Okay. Anything that shows from the front of my card should be a folded edge. So I don't care that part of my strip is showing on the back, because that's not going to show. I'm going to clip this off a little bit. Just take a small piece off the end of this. I'm going to go to where it says number 1 on my card. There's a little tiny number 1. You might come in closer if you would, honey, please. So maybe they can see the numbers a little bit. I'm going to take a piece of tape. I'm going to tape that little folded piece in place. There we go. That's better. Okay. I have number 2 right here at the end of his beak. So I'm going to clip off a little piece. I don't have to have long strips across here. I just need to cover what's showing from the front. And I'm going to tape that folded edge in place. Now I'm going to go to number 3. And number 3 is right here, starting on the head and coming back. So I'm going to cut this where it's just a little larger than I need to cover the space. Folded edge out. Folded edge showing in the bird.
Hi, Sharma.
Hi, Sharma. Oops. I want you guys to know I just created a new category in the store for iris folding. When I went to pull the iris folding supplies, I was surprised that I didn't already have one. But it's useful to have the papers that are iris folding appropriate, lighter weight papers, designated so that you see what some of your choices are. So all of the templates, the dies, and the papers for iris folding are now in the iris folding folder under products in our store. So it's really easy to get to what's going to be useful. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to cut this little 5, number 5. It's going to be overlapping that just a bit. And then I'm going to be done with this section for now. And I'm making sure as I go that my papers, my tape, My papers are completely covering the number, and my tape is not showing on the aperture. Okay? Aperture is just a funny way of saying the opening. Okay. I'm going to use these two, I think, for my wings this time. Why? I don't know. Because they're pretty. Okay, and I'm looking for number 6, which is clear up here. See, oops, let me move that finger right up here in the very corner of that. There's a little tiny number 6. So I'm going to cut a small piece to go there. And take a piece of Scotch tape. That's a great idea, Glenn. Thank you for sharing that. Good gift wrapping paper. That is true. That's a very good way of saying it. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. And then we're going to go to number 7. And number 7, you see the variations of color on the template? That's their suggestions, is to change colors for those two things. And I'm going to use a darker shade. I should use the darker shade in the back, really, if I thought about it. I'm going to change that. And pull up this number 6 I just did. And I'm going to do that in the darker color for the wing that's behind. Just because it makes more sense that if it's further behind, it would be darker. I'm going to take a little tiny piece of this. I'm going to put it in here. Don't need to waste a lot of paper. You know, anything that's just taping to the back, anything that's just not showing is kind of wasted. So you want to make sure it's big enough, but iris folding, the whole idea behind it is that it is a great way of being able to use little bits of paper. It doesn't require a huge investment. For iris folding, you'll simply need a pattern, and those patterns are available in a wide variety of areas. You can get iris folding patterns on the internet. We have several templates that are available. We also have the hunky-dory dies that are available. And there's a lot of iris folding books. Oh, glossy magazine paper would be great. That would be great. It'd be just a nice weight for it. That'd be good. Okay, I like that idea. You guys have great ideas. Okay, I'm going to cut myself number 8. Number 8's back on the darker side. So I'm going to come over here, take a little piece of tape. I think magazines would be really fun. I'd like to have the writing and everything. I think that'd be really fun. I'd have to try that sometime. Okay, I'm going to go back to number 9. My little piece that's left wasn't quite big enough, so I'm going to go over to number 9 with a new strip. These are some of the longer ones in our pattern. I'm going to cover that up, and I'm going to clip it off long enough to cover the space, and not too long to be hanging over where I don't need it. Oops, I just spotted a place where I was going to have tape showing. Okay, yeah, I think that'd be really fun. All right. This is number, oops, I gotta come to number 10 next. We'll get number 10 over here. Glenn's right about the tape. You do go through the tape. You can use any kind of Scotch tape you want to. I personally really like Scotch Magic tape because if I decide I want to remove something, I can without tearing up my picture. Like I changed my mind on the color a minute ago. With some tapes, that would have been a permanent. Oops. That would have been a permanent bind, and it would not like for me to lift that back up. But with the magic tape, I can do that. No, I have no affiliation to Scotch. Although if they want to send me a truckload of tape, that's fine too. I just had an iris folding class here in the classroom a couple days ago, and everybody forgets their tape. Okay. Number 13. Let's see. 13 and 14 come next on this side. I might have cut that too short. I did. I cut that one too short. Pay more attention. Did I tell you? Yeah, I did tell you that this paper is from High Gloss. It's High Gloss is actually a company that kind of caters to school supplies, but they have this rich, beautiful, metallic embossed paper that I just love, and you can get that in their store. Let's see, which color am I on? All right, let me get it over here. Get the right color, Deborah. Get the right color. It's always fun when you're doing this, the anticipation of pulling the work loose and looking at what it looks like from the front, because you're doing all the work from the back, but you get it all secured down while you're working on it. And then you have to kind of wait to see what it looks like. And I always love that process of looking at it to see what we get. Number 15's over here. Number 16's just below it. So we got 16, 17, 18, 19 all in a row here. Don't know if that's long enough. It's not. Not long enough for that one either. We'll get another piece here. These little 1/2-inch folded pieces off our 1-inch cuts. I do like the metallic paper for this. Not only does it look beautiful, it also, you're adding a lot of paper when you do this, but the layers are not heavy. So this is going to turn out to be almost flat, even though I'm adding all these layers. And if you like that effect, sometimes I actually like the bulky effect. I like the texture you get from it. But in this case, I'm counting on the metallic papers to give me the texture. And the getting the texture without the weight using the metallic papers. We put those in the iris folding folder if anybody wants to look for those. It really is fun. Oh, that's a good idea. A glass pane so you could lift it up and look at the front. That's very smart. Okay. But it'd be a little bit difficult just in that you got to have the pattern right underneath. Now that I think about it. Okay, I need one more piece of this light pink. If you don't have the pattern underneath, you can't really see where the recommended fold lines are. Is Dad with you?
Yep.
Oh, Dad's coming out again.
No. Come out.
That's great. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back. And I'm not sure if this is my... Oh, actually, I think I want this. kind of switch colors on myself. I'm going to use this rich fuchsia color to do these next ones. Irene says, hi, Bob. He says hi back, Irene. Okay, I only need a little 24, so I'm going to put my 24 right here. It's really useful to be able to use these numbers to kind of guide you, because there are some places where it doesn't. Actually, I should have gone back here. I'm going to do his tail. I think I have enough to do his tail. I'm going to do his tail in green too. So I skipped 20 through 23. I'm going to come down here and do his tail, then come back to this place where I'm doing the ruby throat on him.
Say hi to Mary R.
Hi, Mary R. How are you, friend?
You don't want him? I have my own over here. Those are yours.
Okay. It's going to be fun to find out. In just a minute, we'll be able to find out, because we only have this little bit of numbers left to go.
Yes, Mary R. He's here.
He and Teddy, I think, huh?
Yes,
Yep.
he's here too. The whole clan.
Yeah, got a whole Hamilton household here.
Just missing the cat and the goat. Say hi to Karen.
Hi, Karen.
What?
Choke on one, Teddy.
You need some water?
I think he's talking about Ted choking a little bit
Talking
there.
about Teddy? No.
No, no.
What do you need?
I need to piece this in to make sure I got a piece that's long enough, but not any longer than I have to secure this down. Yay! Karen, we try really hard to get them right out to you. We want to know what it's like. You know, it's not like you have to buy groceries or other things. Craft supplies are really exciting when they come, and we know how it feels to open that box, so we want to get them right out to you. Okay, I'm going to go back to my fuchsia color. I'm going to put a piece here. Almost done, guys. Cut a couple pieces while I'm cutting here. Okay. It looks like kind of a.
I have some.
Karen says all her poodle thinks all the boxes that arrive are hers. But Teddy's kind of the same way, although Teddy thinks anything or anyone that arrives is there for him. So he kind of has that same philosophy of life. This is all mine, and you can have that one unless I decide I want that one, in which case you have to give it to me. And it doesn't matter at all that some of these pieces have white showing on the back. That doesn't matter at all. If it doesn't show through the window, you don't have to worry about it. Just don't want any of that white to show from the front. I have to open her boxes sitting on the floor for her inspection. I bet she really loves the Chewy boxes. All right. Now, what do I want to use? I'm going to use...
No, I needed another cutting whiskers.
Oh, your whiskers cut? Okay. Well, afterwards we'll can go in and try and shave them.
All right. It'll be done in just a minute, Catherine. It's going to be fun. Wait till you see it. Let's see. What do I want to put up here in this body? I've used all my colors. I'm going to put, maybe I'll go back to this one. A soft color. Have no idea how it's all going to work out. Thelma says hi, Bob.
Hi.
He says hi, Thelma. Been happy to have Dad join us in the shop here the last couple days. It's nice to have him out here. Although you might hear the rattle of crackers or a little voice in the background, that doesn't matter in the greater scheme of things, does it? We just like having them here. Okay, Catherine, we're almost there. I think we got 4 pieces left after this one. Just continuing to work my way around the numbers. As soon as I get this one on, then we're gonna I'm going to put one down and switch colors. Okay, 31 is here. I need one of my pieces of fuchsia because it's a different color. That's part of the throat piece. So I'll put this fuchsia piece on here. Looks like a mess, doesn't it? Okay. Then we have our very last piece to place here. And we need one more piece of paper as our last piece. Now the last piece usually won't show the fold because it's just a piece going in to take up the last bit of room. Now, once we're finished here, I will likely come back. If I need to make any adjustments, I'll come back and make them. But I want to check everything. See, it's not 100% my magic tape, but I'm working on the back, so it doesn't matter. I'll take this off. Ooh. Okay, I'm pretty pleased with this. Here you go. Can back up just a little, hon. There's our hummingbird. Ooh, I like it. I like it a lot. There we go. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, we're going to finish this off. We'll flip this back over and look and see if it looks like it needs any other tape on the back. Sometimes if I have big pieces sticking up and stuff, just to make sure everything's secured down well, I'll add another piece of tape or two. I can take this and my die and move them over here. And I need one of my 5x7 cards. which I sat out earlier, but what did I do with them since? Oh, they're there. They're under the sample cards I showed you in the beginning. Okay. I'm going to fold my card. Okay. And I'm going to see, yeah, my cardstock is big enough to fit nicely. I'm going to go ahead and I can tape this down or I can glue it down. Doesn't really matter. I think I'll use glue because then I can move it around a little bit if necessary. Grab my tacky.
Catherine says it was worth waiting
I'm
for.
glad you like it, Catherine.
Mary says metallic paper was a great choice.
Yeah, I
Very
like
pretty.
this metallic paper. I really like it. We're going to use it again on our next project, which is the watering can from Hunky Dory. Okay, my tacky glue is stuck. Probably left it uncapped. I'm known for that. Come on now. Oh, get my other one out here. Maybe it'll work. My little needle nose glue bottle. Isn't it pretty paper? Like I said, we've had that paper since the earth was cooling. I think we have a few sheets left of it if anybody's interested. But because I was doing a hummingbird and at one place on the paper, there's a hummingbird. It just reminded Margie and she read it up and said, how about this for your background? I said, okay, let's do it. Now, depending on what kind of paper you've used, this place where we have done all of our taping can be fairly thick, but with this metallic paper, it's almost flat. Look at that, it's just almost flat. I'll go ahead and put this down to my card. I like glue in that you can move things around a little bit. And that, my friends, is card number 1. Isn't that pretty? Catherine, I thought you'd like that because it's the Eiffel Tower too. Let me show you the other paper, the rest of the sheet. Can you back up a little? Now I could still get several more cards off of this if I wanted to. I could take a 5x7 here. I could take a 5x7 here, and I could take a 5x7 here. So I could get 3 more cards out of this if I wanted to, using that one sheet of paper. All right, let's switch gears here. I do love the way that turned out. That's fun. And let's go to our watering can. This should be interesting because I haven't done the watering can before. So you never know what you're going to get. Okay. I will show you what I've prepped in advance. Let me move all these little scraps so I'm not mixing them up with my new ones. I'll keep all these little pieces of paper because, as you've seen, sometimes you only need just the smallest, tiniest piece to cover an area. And it doesn't take an awful lot of paper. Remember that these were 1/2 or 1 inch strips when I started, and I had 3 or 4 of each color, and I still have 2 or more of each color. I probably have enough here to make another one. But if not, I know where to get more high gloss paper. So another one over there, hiding out. Okay, this is how we're going to do. I'm going to put my watering can on here. Here's my watering can design. I'm going to tip it just a little, just for interest. And let's go ahead and get this die cut onto our paper. I love this magnetic platform for my board because I can. Now remember, you want to position this so that you have roughly a ½ inch all the way around. I'm going to be a little shy of that on this one. I'll just have to be careful with my tape that I'm not going over the edge. Back through, as Catherine called it, my magic machine.
Say hi to Doris.
Hi, Doris. Good to see you, friend. Did you see what we just finished, Doris? This is what we just finished. Next, we're doing a watering can. Okay, so we've cut our aperture in our card. These pieces will just pop right out, theoretically. And there's our watering can. And we're going to dispense with these little pieces. Set my die to the side, and I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to tape this down over my pattern.
Good night to Catherine.
Good night, Catherine. Sure, and check in later and see how these others turned out. This watering can, I think, is going to be beautiful. Have a good sleep, friend. A little piece of paper hung up in my aperture here. And again, aperture is just a fancy word for saying the hole we just cut out. That little snag of paper would have looked terrible in there, though, so I just took it out. Okay, let's tape this down. Tape on the bottom. Oops. Tape over here. All right. Now, I'll show you the colors I picked out for this. I have no idea where we're going to put what colors because, again, I haven't done this one yet. So I'll be as surprised as you are with what we pick out. I've got these pretty silver, which I think are gorgeous. I've got this deep blue. I've got silver in a different texture. I've got gold in a different texture. And I've got this turquoise in a different texture. So I'll probably use, I was going to say I'm going to use my picture to kind of decide what to put where, but my picture's now taped down under there, so I guess we're just going to have to wing it, guys.
So the spout should be silver.
Spout should be silver, I agree. So let's move some of these strips out of the way here, so we got the front to work on. And here we go.
Maybe the bottom part of the can is
I was thinking maybe dark blue here and turquoise. I don't know. Some of these are the same colors as down here. So maybe the darkest color here.
Gold for the can, and then
the can itself, yeah, maybe. Maybe. Okay. All right, let's get going here. We got the number 1. Then we have number 2 and number 3, which are both small pieces. Number 2 and number 3. Oops. Doesn't really work to try and put them down more than one piece at a time, even though I've tried that many times.
Not at all empty.
Okay, here we go.
Hold your hand up.
We'll put a piece of tape there.
Twist.
I'm going to put a piece of tape at number 2 here. Okay, I'll put a number 3 here. That looks good. Just a little secret, if you're trying to decide about your picture, you know, which colors to use, you can actually lift it up and look as you go and determine that. And put number 4 here. Clearly need a little more tape up there. All right, that looks good. Now they want 5, 6, 7. I think I want the handle to be the same color as the spout. Don't you think so? Yeah. Number 5 here. Number 6 is a slightly different color. I think I'll just change the texture on the next one. Let's see what happens when we do that. Stop it. Put a little piece of this plaid textured paper there next. Just for something different. I have more colors than I need, but we'll decide as we go. You guys, and you're crunching.
He's chewing hard candy.
Yeah, I hear that. Dad's enjoying a piece of hard candy. One of our customers brought that into class the other night. I can't remember what that's called, but it is just the best hard candy. Did you enjoy that out of the tin? Not so much?
Probably not my favorite.
Hmm.
It's all right.
I thought it was delicious, but I did have one piece earlier today I didn't care for as much. It was one of the red ones, and it had an odd, clovey kind of taste to it that I didn't love. But I love the fruit flavored ones. Okay. All right. I've gotten. Now we're up to here. So I need an 8. I think we'll use the plaid. Where's the plaid? That's the hard. I'm going to use the plaid over here at number 8. Then I'm going to use my little plaid, or my little hearts. The next one, number 9. Number 9. Oops. Trying to pull loose on me. Put another piece of tape there so it doesn't migrate. I think I'm okay there. Then I'm going to put in number, I go with this one for number 11. Should be interesting with the different textures. And the silver, I don't know how much that will show. We'll find out how much it'll show. I just cut that one too short. Use this one here. Now in this handle piece, it's not going to be possible to get a piece in there that has a fold showing on it. So it ends up just being a solid in that part of the aperture just because it's so thin. And I'm going to take another piece of my plaid for number 12. Can you come in a little closer, please? Make sure that's covering all the way, even if it means the next piece is a little longer. 12. And I have piece number 14. This is a tricky little one to tape here because it has aperture on both sides of it. So I think I'm going to have to, I'm trimming down my piece a little bit, and I'm going to trim my tape down a little bit too so it doesn't show. But you don't want it showing through your window. That one slid right away on me. I'll tape this from both directions so I can get it to stay put. Come on. I got the tape stuck on my finger. It really, really doesn't want to come off.
That's talent for you.
Okay. Now, number 13 is down here. That goes back to the heart paper. Do this a little differently. I have a long, skinny piece here. I'm gonna make my fold a little different. There we go. Okay. All right. That was number, okay, so here's number 13. So I need to decide what we're going to do with this color in it. I think we're going to switch to the turquoise up here. And we're going to use the dark blue here. I think that'll be pretty. Hard to describe if this is really a turquoise or almost a teal. It's almost a teal color, isn't it? Because it's got a lot of green to it. Whatever you call it, it's pretty. Little slurp pop. You guys are quiet tonight. Isn't it nice? Bryce will probably tell me I'm jinxing it to say this, but isn't it nice how our switching out our card has solved our connection problems? Jordan was here, fortunately, and she knows more about this stuff than her dad and I do. And she said, sounds like you need a video card. So we switched the video card, and it's been working well ever since. So thank you, Jordan. long piece there. Okay. 17 is a long piece up here. No, how do they want me to do that? I think I'm going to do 18 first, then 17, because then I won't have an end showing. People who make these patterns are human too, so if you ever see a place that's going to kind of leave you stranded showing an end of your paper, and you can see a way around it, just switch the order. In this case, 18 will create a solid end for me on 17. So we do that.
Green says there's lots of close curves on
There
that.
is. There really are a lot of close curves on this one. And I have not done one quite like this before, so it's interesting. It's not hard. It just takes a little looking over it to see. Okay, the next piece they're going to have me do is down here. That's number 15. So I'll put this in right here. I do love the way this metallic paper just doesn't add a lot of bulk. But I want to show you what I'm talking about the texture you get that way too. When I'm done here, I'll show you what I mean. Because we're going to do one more after this. I think we're doing fine for time. We're going to do one more after this that is done over a template instead of a die cut. Because you don't have to have die cuts, although I have to admit die cuts are really nice after cutting out pieces from the template. Okay, this is number 16. Must have already done 17 and 18 because I don't see those. A piece of tape hanging off the edge of my cardstock here. I can trim that when I take it off. Okay, so I've got, I guess we'll go to 19 here. Oh, 20 is interesting. It kind of goes cross country. Hi, Brenda. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for stopping in, even when you've had company. Appreciate it. We are doing iris folding. Right now we're doing a watering can. I just did a hummingbird, and then we're going to do one flower. 20. Need another piece. Move some of these out of my way. 21 and 22 are up. So I'm going up here to where it says 21. There isn't going to be a kit for this, but all the dies, all the templates, all the paper are now in an iris folding. So if you see a project you'd like to do here, iris folding is a really inexpensive form of paper craft. Of course, it can be expensive, I guess, depending on the style of paper you choose, but none of the papers I've used are terribly expensive. 22, and you use so very little paper, it's not like you have to use a lot. That's 23 is down here. 24's in dark blue. And we've got a dark blue strip here. That's interesting. We've got 224, so I'm going to put them in as two pieces. Wait a second. Maybe I want to do this. I kind of see what they're doing. They put 224s on there. That's just because they're kind of using a piece of paper to close in the last little bit here. And so I'll just take a little piece and finish off that little rectangle we have left, or triangle we have left. Lots of tape. Yeah, it really does look messy when you're working on it. And it looks so mysterious when you flip it over. It's like, how did you do that? Nobody ever would guess that you were just cutting up paper and piecing it in here with tape. But we won't tell them, because that's a trade secret. Just you, me, and 3,500 of our best friends will know. And everybody else who's ever done it. 5. 26 over here. Perfect size piece for that. $27's down here. Always make sure that folded line is out. If not, you might get a white edge piece showing through the front. You wouldn't want that. Oh, wow. Doris is going to get some snow. Where do you live, Doris? $28 is dark blue. Hope this is pretty when we're done. I think it will be. I haven't used any of the gold I set out, but that's okay. The silver and teal and dark blue should be pretty. Okay, this is a 29 up here. I'm getting confused. Oh, that's blue there, huh? Oh, that's that one. This one I put here should have been dark blue. So I'm taking these two off. Okay, got a little confused with my color changes there, but it became obvious when I got down here that I had the wrong color up there. Because I had too many colors all of a sudden. Okay, so I'm going to do 26, 22, 26. Hopefully this is going to look okay. We might have to make a change. If we do, we'll see how to do that. 26. Hi, Diane. Someone's playing a joke on you, maybe? Could be. Okay. Okay, go back to the blue. 30. And that's not quite long enough. Let's use that for 34 or 32. We're almost done with this one, guys. Let's see what it looks like. Looks like a royal mess from the back. Although it's not a real heavy mess. It's nice. Okay. I need a 31 here. So I can use this piece that I pulled off. I need a 32 up here, which is the dark blue again. And I need a light piece up here. Just use these pieces I already had taped. And use a dark piece down here. And my last two are both going to be the teal color. Hopefully my colors are going to be okay in here. Never know till you try. That's 35 right here. And then I have a little square in the middle. It's like a 1-inch square in the middle, a little less than an inch. And I'm going to put this solid piece right in the middle. Okay. All right. Time for the big reveal. I've got a piece of tape hanging over the edge here I have to fix.
Let's see this.
Okay, you want to go back in the house?
Oh, look here, Bryce. What do you think, guys? I like it. I think if anything, I might have liked having the green and the blue in the handle and the spout too, but it's pretty. I don't see any boo-boos in it.
You want to go back to the house? Okay. All right.
There we go. I like that. Let's go ahead and put it on our card base. And then all of our work that was behind here will be pinned in between the card and the face of our card. So it's neat to just use those little. Now this one I cut to leave a border around it. If I wanted to put down another color, I could. I just thought it might look nice with all the colors to actually have just a little bit of white showing in this one. Boy, that is stuck. I have to work over my tacky to get off the air. Okay. Let's see if this one will cooperate. Huh? I just found a piece of tape. I'm going to come in here and trim that out just a little. I don't want it showing. Hard as you try, sometimes you're going to get tape showing, but I like it when it doesn't. Okay. Remember to put my glue back a little bit from the edge since I'm going to have an edge around this one. I've got a little close here on the side. Okay, go ahead and put our card down, leaving our border around it. I do like having glue when it comes to adjusting these. Make them all nice and even. It's nice to have glue so you can. There we go. How's that one? You like that one? You didn't get a color. Should the whole thing have been the blue and teal? Or do you like the silver on the handles and the spout? I was curious what you think. Okay, that's two. For anybody who might not have been here to see it, here's the first one. Now we're going to go to some work on a template. I'm going to move all these little strips because we're going to use different paper. This time we're going to use the Hunky Dory paper, and I'll show you why I like it. First of all, it's absolutely perfect folding weight, which it should be when it's an A6 folding paper pad, and that's great. The other reason that I like it, the texture of the paper is really nice to work with. It's a matte finish. You get lots of colors. Now these are matte colors, but for every matte color you get, there is also in this book a foiled sheet. For every color that you get in matte, there's also a foil.
Everybody likes the silver.
Everybody likes the silver? Good.
Silver, 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 silver.
Good. Okay. Good. So this is why I like this. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? You got all these pretty textures to go to. So let me show you what we're going to do next. We're going to do one like what we've done before. We're going to do this one or something very similar to it. And I got a few tips for you on using this particular template. I've already chosen my papers and I have those out and ready. I did not yet finish cutting this out. I can't just die cut this one because there is no die. I'm using a template. So I'm using this template. And I started by covering my piece of 5x7 card with a piece of, this happens to be cottage paper from Graphic 45, but I could use whatever I wanted. And then I took the back or the front of the paper and I covered it, and then I flipped it over and got the border off the back. And I just thought that added an interesting little dimension to get that extra little color across the bottom, kind of creating the ground there. So I wanted to show you that. I think this tulip looks better if you trace it on at a bit of an angle. So I would start by tracing on my tulip. If you use pencil, you can erase your marks. If you use pen, you just have to make sure you cut past the pen mark. Excuse me. And then this piece right here is the stem of my flower. So I actually traced the whole stem just so I wouldn't be confused, but a big piece of it is under my tulip. So I'm going to have kind of a short stemmed tulip because it's too, otherwise it will be too big for my 5x7 card. And then this piece right here is the leaf. So I traced my leaf on, and I traced it so that the leaf is kind of coming up under the bloom. And all in all, I actually have a pretty centered piece. See that? So let's just cut this out the rest of the way. Where I have the double lines, where I have the stem coming up into the flower, I'm just cutting that all out right with the flower. a fair amount of the cutting done. I just wanted to make it efficient when we did this. Now, if you have a cutting board and a knife available, this is an easy job with a blade. I don't use a blade very often, so I don't usually think about it. I end up using my scissors for most everything. But those of you who use a blade will probably be watching me do this and thinking, oh my gosh, why are you doing it that way? That's crazy. Yeah, just because I didn't have a blade handy. I do have one, I just don't have it right here in front of me. Okay, so let's go cut that little stem out. I have 2 layers of cardstock here, so I need to make sure they both get cut through. And then I just have my little leaf to go. I just poke my scissors through to get a starting spot. It's not really too inconvenient to have to cut this. It makes, the dies are $12.99 each. And I get all these patterns on this template for $7.99. So it's a trade-off. I have more time, but less money involved in doing it this way. I find it hard when I want to call my mom about things because I used to talk to her on the phone pretty much every week. There was always some kind of news to share. Anytime I got news to share, I feel like I want to pick up the phone and call her. So when we meet again, we'll have a lot to talk about. Okay. All right, got my aperture cut. There we go. Now I want to show you a couple of things about using the stencil. The easiest, fastest way to do this flower is that we're not going to use a template at all for this leaf or this stem. So I'm just going to set my template aside for a minute. I'm going to make my leaves long ways, and I'm going to make my stem in little sections going up the flower. So let's see how we're going to do that. We're going to get our paper cutter here and cut ourselves some strips. I probably have more colors than I need, but I'll just take a couple of them here. These come in A6 sheets, so I kind of like you could use these lengthwise and probably have a little bit more flexibility about how long things are. I think I will use them lengthwise this time, but you can also just cut them side to side and use them that way. So whatever you like, it works. I'm just going to go ahead and cutting all of them at once. Some are a little wider, some are a little narrower. Doesn't really matter. So I have everything for my leaves. And I'm just going to start with my leaf by taking one of my see you later, Brenda. taking one of my greens, and I'm going to run it lengthwise in my leaf, doing this entirely without a pattern. So I'll tape that in. Because it's such a simple design here with this leaf and the stem, there's no reason we really have to follow a pattern to do it. I'm going to use one of my darker pieces next to that. Just want some texture in my leaves. So I'll come over a little bit from there and bring in a darker piece. I also have this one. I might put the spotted one before the darker one, just because I think it'd be interesting to have the contrasting spots. So let's put this one in next. I'm only going to have 4 or 5 pieces in this leaf. I'm doing them one into the other. Now let's get that darker one in. Well, oops, darker one. And I think I'll run this up to the point of my leaf. And maybe I'll just finish it off with the green, with dark green. We'll see how this looks. I don't know. I don't know how it'll look. I could put, I think I do have a darker green one here. Yeah, I do. I have a darker green. Let's put that darker green spot in this little place. That'll be pretty. That foiling in there. Okay, there's our leaf, and it didn't have to be complicated, it just needs to be cute. Okay, now let's do our stem. And for our stem, we're going to do some little pieces right on up the stem. So I'm going to cut a few of these, and I'm just going to place them right along my stem going up. So let's start with, I'll put this one in. And then I'll put the solid in next to it. So I kind of started that on the other leaf. Dad getting tired? Is that what he wanted to go in and sit in his chair?
No, your chairs are too hard.
My chairs are too hard. Okay.
Yeah, that's why you wanted to go in.
Well, sometimes I think my chairs are too hard too. He's got a pretty cushy setup in there, I must say. Okay. Tell them about the daycare and what they had Dad, some of the things they had Dad doing this week, honey. Like the book reading and or book, looking at a book together and some of those things they were doing.
I don't remember much, but there's that one. Yeah, when I went to pick up Dad the other day, they had all the little kids from the daycare next door come over and pair up with one of the adults who wanted to participate, and they were looking at books or reading books together.
Dad doesn't have his reading ability anymore, but they could turn the pages and
Yeah.
and
So
look at things together. And boy, he does love being around little kids. And
Yes, he
But-
really does enjoy them, and everybody had smiles on their faces, and so it was just such a nice, neat activity for them. Then the director, when I dropped him off that day, I walked in, and the director, she was all dressed up with looked like a coonskin hat and a big old long beard.
Huh.
They were going to do an activity of guess who I am. So that was pretty cool.
They also had a coloring time this week where they had easy line drawings and markers or pencils for them to fill in their designs. And was that the little kids and the adults too, or is that
No.
just the adults?
That was just the adults.
But he enjoyed that.
Yes.
We got pictures of him studiously coloring. See, doesn't that turn out pretty, guys? And we didn't use a template at all for this, but it just shows you that you can do some simple little designs sometimes without even having a design board to work from. But now we got to do the tulip. So I'm bringing in my tulip template, and the first thing I have to decide is how to position it, because you'll see that this is a big pentagon. Now, one of the challenges of that is that the tulip is smaller than the pentagon, so the numbers are starting around the outside, and I'm going to have to identify my numbers to see where I want things to go on here. So I'm just going to pick a spot to put this. We call daycare, we call it going to the club. The club. I think I picked that up from one of you guys who said that their mom was going to the country club. We call it going to the club. Because daycare sounds kind of funny to me to be talking about taking dad to daycare. That's absolutely what it is. But I don't want him to feel like we're treating him like a youngster. So we call it going to the club. Okay, so I've got my template taped down. I'm actually going to move it a little bit and make this easier on myself by putting in a few different making some of my lines go through. He really does like it, so that's helpful. He had his first full day there the other day, and when Bryce picked him up, he said, "I thought you weren't coming. I thought I might have to walk home." He wasn't really approving of the longer day, especially, but he will kind of get used to that. It was just the longest day he had had. Now, from my pad, I really wanted to use, because I used this border that has kind of this coral color in it, I really wanted to use both the pink and the coral, and I took both the foiled and plain designs. And then I also have, if I want to use it, I have kind of a brick red that I can use. And I have this fuchsia color I can use. So I can do this any way I want to. I'm going to put most of mine, I think, today in this peach and this pink color. Oh, the nursing home, they called it her apartment. Makes perfect sense. Let's see. These are all fairly short pieces, so I'm going to cut these off the long side this time. I'm going to go ahead and cut them up because I don't want to stop and have to recut paper. So, and this pad will absolutely be used for this craft. It's just what I'm going to use it for again. So, because it is perfect folding weight and the colors are so pretty. One of the things that we've noticed is since he's been going to the club, his cognitive skills have come up a bit, and because he's talking more and he's interested in what's happening around him, he's finding it easier to chat about things. He'll come home and tell us about what happened that he saw today. Okay, now this is why I said this is a little bit more complicated than the other, because again, my low numbers are out here on the edge and my tulip's right in the middle. So I have to kind of peek sometimes to see what the numbers are that I'm supposed to be using and how I'm going to get them in. What we did in class, and ultimately I think it was a good strategy, is that we just started working from the outside in, and everywhere we had solid pieces to fit, we fit them with the colors that we wanted to use. So we didn't disregard the pattern. We're still using the angles from the pattern, but we are not paying so much attention to the numbers. Sorry. Good night, Doris. So I'm going to start over here. And I'm going to kind of use my foiled and my solid papers interchangeably. Like, get it out of it now. This great big long piece of tape I don't need. Fighting with my tape dispenser. So we'll just use the rest of that piece. So I'm going to use a piece of the salmon color. Then I'm going to use a piece of the foil in that salmon. Then I'm going to go back to the solid again so that I get a nice addition of that foiled paper in there. But it's not everything. It's like just some of it. Okay. This is a long old piece of crust here. We're going to, oops, I have one folded. I'm going to put this one all the way across here. Don't need that piece to be quite that long. How many of you guys do iris folding? Have some of you done it? If you enjoy it, is it something that you still like to do? It's something that you haven't seen as much of, although I think it's making a bit of a recurrence, a little bit of a rebound. Okay, so I have my salmon color here. I really need to separate my pinks and my salmons because they're going to be hard to tell apart. So I'm going to put my pinks over here. I actually think I started with my pinks, not my salmons. That's fine. Have to just sort these out a little bit. It really is fun. It's very, very fun. It's not difficult. And people who get your cards are going to say, wow, how did you do that? And like you said, skill and patience. Because they will not be figuring out how you did this. But I do love it. It's a good companion to our other crafts because it uses many of the same skills and a roll of tape. Okay, let's see. Now I'm using my salmon color. I thought that's what I grabbed to start with, but I grabbed the pink. Sometimes in these bright lights, it's actually a little challenging to see which one's which, if the colors are similar. Okay, I've put those on. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a piece of my pink across the top there. Unfortunately, for many people who were in my class the other night, this is a it was a little confusing not to be able to use the numbers, and I hated that I had them all confused because I thought this would be the easier of the two projects. I was wrong. But live and learn, right? Everybody still loved me at the end. That was what's important. They still loved me. They had plenty of things to take home and try and continue to learn from. So that's a good thing. And again, I'm just working my way around the edges, looking where I can run my piece to piece, side to side. See, this is what I'm trying to avoid. I don't want to do these pieces that end in the middle. You need to have borders put around so you have something to tape to, so you don't have any loose ends showing from the front. You want the strips to go all the way across. So I'm going to start, I think I'll use some of these again. This is a different, slightly different color here. I'm going to use this one again here. I'm going to do this in mostly the peach and the pink, but I might put brighter colors in somewhere. Haven't decided with certainty yet. Okay, but it's time to decide because I think what I'm going to do is put a darker swirl right here, like they have on the pattern, a darker swirl in that one place. So I'm going to get some fuchsia here. And I'm going to use that. I think I'll keep buffering. See you later, Mary R. And a few pieces of fuchsia ready to go. And start with a solid on the end. I can turn this off. You have to go to the post office, honey. Oh, that's Margie. Oh, one of you guys can turn it off for me then. Okay. All right, I'm gonna. Okay. I need to come over here and do these next. And I think I'm going to come in with some more of the pink over there. So I'm going to fold myself a couple of pieces of my pink here. Okay, let's see. I think I'll start with this foiled one here. I just have to look for the next place that I can go that I can finish my strip and not have it end in the middle. So I'm coming down here. This is a good skill to develop though, because once you have like this folding template, you can do all kinds of shapes around that template once you kind of teach yourself to go to where you need to go to instead of necessarily following the numbers. That's the skill to be developed here, is just to have the confidence to take off and not necessarily follow. Whoops, messed that up. Don't know if you saw what I did, but I got my tape over the edge of the strip. Don't want that. But since I'm using this magic tape, it pulls right back off. I can get it in where I wanted it. I'm going to put my foiled piece in again. This is a long one here. Okay. All right. Let's get a solid. Put it right in here, just the right size piece. We have lots of beautiful templates in the store that are easy to use. So if you're looking for a project to get you started, those are good ones. Okay, now that I've done that, I can come in with these fuchsia pieces and start working my way up. So let's come around here. This does have a lot of pieces in it, even though it's not a huge project. It's considerably larger than the other two we did. Ooh, the kimono, I bet is beautiful. That would be beautiful. There are all kinds of pattern sites out there that you can go to for patterns. And it's fun to see what you can come up with. Okay. In here. You do go through a fair amount of tape, though. Okay. I've gone as far as I can go there without it ending. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to come back to my pinks. I'm going to fill in some of this area. I can get one in here, all the way down around the edge. I'm moving over. That means I'm going to switch to my coral piece. I'm going to foil the piece here and put it in there, right across here. You can see that it's starting to close in, and it's getting easier and easier to keep working my way around, looking for the ones that can be put down now. It's my coral again. Yeah, we found out with the watering can, and it was actually more challenging with the watering can because we had so many angles. So I think you're right about that, Thelma. The easier the pattern is, the easier it is to do. I need a pink. Where's my pink? That's my pink right there. Okay. Come across here. Well, I go see my doctor tomorrow to find out about the surgery. When and how we're going to do that. I think I'm going to push for moving forward and getting it done because I've lived with this condition long enough. So It really is fun. And once you have your strips all cut and stuff, then you can just make and make and make. Okay, we have our fuchsia ready to go over here. I need a solid. Yeah, I have to go in and have some lady surgery done. Yet to decide if it'll be a full hysterectomy or if it'll be something less than that. That's what we have to go in tomorrow and decide. The doctor was waiting for me to lose weight to get it done, and I did. I lost 47 pounds, and then I turned around, and when my mom had such a bad year last year and got so sick, I gained a bunch of it back, in fact, all of it back. And that my mom's fault. It was all on me. I just didn't handle the stress very well, and I gained all the weight back. So the last time I saw my doctor, I had lost 47 pounds, and he said, go lose another 47 and your surgery will be much less complicated. So I agreed to do that. Then I gained it all back, and now I've lost 40 of it again. But I'm not looking forward to that. I'm kind of a wimp about surgery. I don't want to do it, but you got to do what you got to do. And the condition is not going to improve unless I have the surgery. So there you go. Sometimes we got to be big kids about this stuff as much as I don't want to be. I don't like doctors. I don't like going to the doctor's office. I don't like... Yeah, I'm just not a person that's courageous about such things. So I'm going to get some of my salmon color and go here. And I get the foiled one next. See, I've got room to do all of my foiling up here now. Okay. Let's see. This one down here. Say hi to Margie, guys.
Hi, guys.
Bryce took the mail, and Margie's taking over the stream. Those of you with orders pending can get your orders. How'd everything go okay?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm down there doing dances and things.
Dances and things?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know, jumps for joy.
Okay. I'd like to see that.
It looks kind of like this because I'm sitting in my chair at the moment. Hi, guys.
Not only would I like to see it, I'd like to tape that. I'm sure our friends online would love to see it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay, we are headed for home here on this iris folding. We are really closing it in now. I'm going to put a piece of this one. Oops, I need a foiled one. I'm just alternating the foil and the regular so I get some of that beautiful print in there. I don't use all my print at one time. I'm just alternating back and forth. You can use as many colors or as few colors as you want to. You're the artist here. You get to decide what you want to do. We're getting awfully close to done. Oh. That one. It's not what I need. This is what I need. Getting really close. We will have finished 3 cards tonight.
I know that you had them ready, set to go.
I did. I was all prepared, so we didn't have to waste a lot of time, but we could still talk about the necessary stuff. I see a little piece of tape there I'm going to get rid of before it annoys me from the outside. Okay, I need a solid here.
You haven't moved, but you still lose things, right?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I should have known when I heard it fall over that it was over there.
I do that too.
Okay, and I need one more little piece of fuchsia. I got one right there. Put in here. Now we're going to have to make a choice as to whether we want to fill this in with our color, if we want to use a piece of gold, how we want to fill in this center. So I think what we'll do is pick it up. Peach. A little piece of solid peach.
There should be some right there.
There's one.
Sorry, guys. I kind of moved the camera just a tiny little bit. It shook.
Okay, so we have to decide, do we want to put gold in the center of this? Yeah, we're going to cheat to make that decision. Do we want to put gold in the middle? Do we want to put pink, peach in the middle? What do we want to do? So we'll take this off our stencil because we don't really need the stencil anymore. That's beautiful, by the way. I think it's actually quite pretty. All right, now we'll hold pieces up and decide what we want to do.
Could you put like a saying in the middle?
Yes, you actually
I mean,
could.
you could, couldn't you?
Yes, you
Not
absolutely.
this particular time because we're not prepped. So sorry.
You absolutely could put a saying in the middle. You could put a little tiny picture in the middle,
Yeah.
which would be just stunning. Your grandkid face in the middle. Be beautiful. You can do all kinds of things. So we just have to decide whether we want gold. There's gold. I think that's just too much, personally. Or whether we want peach. I could, if I wanted to, do 2 folds and do peach through that center piece.
That looks good.
That looks good.
Mm-hmm. It looks
We
almost
also
more
have
natural
rose.
for the flower.
We also have rose we could do. This is the rose. My folded strips, I'll have to put a couple of them in to cover the hole, but that's okay.
No, Thelma, I'm not Ginger Rogers. Not by any
Okay. I think I like the
possibility.
peach the best in you.
I do.
Okay. All right.
It kind of makes it look like it goes right into the leaf.
Now
It
this
blends.
space is a little bit bigger than the strips that I have left are. So I'm going to actually put a little fold in this. I'm going to go across that strip. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to put a solid in the rest of it. Because I didn't keep any big pieces, I don't think. So I'm going to put this here. Look at the angle I want. Just come on down with the current angle. I made this strip a little wider. I didn't fold it in half. I just made it a little wider so I could get this finished. And then it's just going to be a solid piece in this last little bit here. Okay. Wowzer. I like it. You guys like it? I really like it. I'm wondering if I might have left 2 pieces of the foil in there.
I
Instead of
liked
one
when
in
it
the
had the
solid.
one rose colored foil and the one peach colored foil, kind of going that it made it look like they were actual each petals like you would see on the tulip.
Well, let's take this last one off because I'm not loving that last piece. It doesn't really do it entirely for me. Let's take that last piece out and let's get a piece of the pink in there. The question is whether my pink will be wide enough.
I was thinking the other pink, the hot pink.
Oh, the fuchsia?
hmm
Okay. Let me.
When you had it in there for a minute, and it truly did. It looked like
What did I use? Okay.
there's one right in front of you, isn't there? By your hand.
It's not wide enough.
Oh,
But I could do it in 2 strips. Actually, maybe I'll do it this way. Because I'm also not sure I liked my angle on that one. So let's try this.
it's always up for experiment, isn't it?
Always. There's always an experiment. I'm going to come up from the bottom with this fuchsia color because the fuchsia is on a different angle than the coral was. Where did that go now? Let's see what we think of this one. Whoops. Just pulled it loose, but I think it's still in there. No, I have a little bit of white showing there. I can't have that.
That paper is very forgiving.
Yeah, well, the tape is really forgiving.
Yes.
And that's
I
why I
flipped
like
it.
the.
I'm sorry. I'm brain dead.
That's why I like the magic tape, because you can usually, not always, but you can usually pull it up without
Yeah.
tearing it.
And that's a big deal when you've got these little foil pieces like this.
Remember how I said that we had to watch the way that we folded it because you didn't want the little white extra to show? That's what I'm fixing here that I did wrong last time. That little bit of white. Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah, that's it right there. That's the one. Wow. Wow. Let's put this on a card base. Take a look at our work and we will be finished.
I want to see the watering can.
It's coming up next. It's
I
already
actually
done.
don't want to see the watering can because if I see the watering can, I think I'm going to like the watering can. We've already established that I have way too many hobby plans.
Well, unlike a lot of people, you actually use your hobbies, so you do a lot of your crafts regularly. It doesn't just sit. So, ooh, that's pretty. That's
Well, this year
beautiful.
they have just sat.
Well, you've kind of had a few things on the agenda this year. Okay.
By the way, we were talking last night about how long ago that it had been since such and such. Do you
Since who?
since we were trying to think about when the garage thing
Oh,
happened?
Garage
But
doors.
just to put it into perspective, Emma is 9. And on February 28th, 29th, right along in there is when everything closed down and we had to stop her
Okay.
from going to 4 or more, which meant that she was 5.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So it seems
Time
like
flies.
it kind of blends, but I realized last night it's been 4 years.
Wow. Time flies when you're having fun, Margie.
Or you're just crazy.
I was talking about this event that Margie's talking about. I was thinking it was like 6 months ago. She's telling me it was 4 years ago.
I realized on the drive in today, it was one of those reflection moments.
There we go. It is finished. Let's take a look at our others. We'll make Margie wait till last for the watering can. So we got it beautiful. This is the one done with the stencil. It's done with the Teresa's Pentagon Iris folding stencil. We still have just a few of those in the store. But I do love that. I love the way that turned out. And I especially, just it's fun that the paper had this kind of peachy color on the back, so we could pull in that peach color. I like it a lot. Here's our hummingbird we did today. Isn't that pretty? And here is our watering can.
Oh, it turned out super cute.
We just put that over the, I had a piece of rose paper left from the marketplace papers with Graphic 45.
Flower market.
Flower market, yeah. There we go. All right, that's what we're doing tonight. If you haven't already hit the thumbs up button, please do it. It makes me feel good, and it lets YouTube know that this is a channel they can feel good about recommending. If you aren't a subscriber yet, hit that subscribe button because we always have fun, and you never know what we're going to come up with. I mentioned earlier showing you the difference in texture between the two. This metallic paper folds almost flat, so it doesn't create the bulk underneath that you normally get, but you do lose a little of the dimension that you get in the folding papers. So there's kind of a plus and minus, and it just depends on which one you like the most. If when we leave the screen tonight, we'll just hang out for just a minute, if you would please, and tell me in the comments which of our 3 cards you liked the most today, the hummingbird, the watering can, or the tulip. And just leave a comment for me if you would. I always enjoy reading your comments and seeing which ones you like the best. And are there any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom?
Did you tell them about the paper that's with the hummingbird, that we only have a very small amount?
Yeah, on alert. There's only a little bit of this paper left, but if you want some, we have 2 or 3 packs of it in there.
Yeah.
So, and that's like 2-piece packs, so they're not expensive. All right.
$2.99.
$2.99. Okay, $2.99 for 2 sheets. That's a great price. As that flock paper was originally $1.99 a sheet. Yep. In the absence of any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom, I'm going to go ahead and say good night, Gracie.